Shepard. Everybody's thinking about me, but I feel alright. Everybody's out to get me, but I feel alright. Everybody's out to get me, but I feel alright. Everybody's thinking about me, but I feel alright. Everybody's out to get me.
Oh,
I hate Jacob like I hate the John Cena heel turn. It just no. It's
so
why.
welcome to another round of Arbitration Studios as we continue our journey across the whole damn thing of the Mass Effect trilogy and Mass Effect 3. I'm JP Arbiter.
And I'm Captain Jack.
And joking about leaving Jacob behind, bleeding there in the snow, we are coming to the great second act of Mass Effect 3, the Quarian Geth War. There's going to be a lot of questions, and I made a lot of decisions, and I know I'm going to make at least one decision you are not going to appreciate. But we'll get to that. This is this is the one arc of the trilogy that that I think has the most to do with Shepard's involvement. Curing the genophage was always going to happen.
Yeah.
But I don't think that the Quarian Geth War and its resolution would have happened without Shepard's involvement.
No, I agree. I think that I think he accelerated it. I say he, but I think
Or she.
She. I think they accelerated immensely because I think at a certain point in their time frame, there was going to be this resolution. There was going to be this.
But the thing is that it needed Shepard to do it, and it needed Shepard to do it because Shepard was involved with someone very, very special, and it was her pilgrimage and her involvement with the Geth that made it happen. And that person is
Best friends.
Glad you could make it, Tal.
permission to board granted, Tally. Welcome back.
This is throughout this series. First off, I have gone on record as arguing that the relationship between, if you pursue a romance, it's the most wholesome of all of the available romances. But I also think that if you don't, she's your best friend. She is your bestie. She is the person that you know won't judge you and will stick with you no matter what, as long as she doesn't see your internet search history.
Your internet search history. I'm fine. You're fucked. So the other side of it too is that Tally is unique as a character because she is the only one who's universally loved
Yes.
by all of the NPCs.
Yeah.
Ashley was very cautious about Garrus, Rex, and Liara when they were brought on board. No one cared about Tally.
No. Everybody loves
Joker calls her the good luck charm of the ship.
Yep.
I mean, even Zaid, I think, likes her.
Yeah,
And Zaid doesn't like anyone.
Zaid doesn't even like Zaid.
Well, I mean, self-hatred. I've never experienced this before.
But I do think that the most, in my opinion, the relationship that I feel like is the kind of it's Garrus and it's Tally. Like those two are.
It helps that they were squad mates for all three Mass Effect games.
Yeah.
It absolutely solidifies the relationship more so than even Liara, who is, facts are facts. BioWare did everything that they could to make Liara the default companion.
Yes.
For a Shepard, male or female.
Yes.
But having Liara not be a permanent squad mate in Mass Effect 2 really kind of pulled away from that, and that's why.
Yep.
That's why, as a male Shepard, I tend to lean towards Ashley if I'm not just going to wave it around for three different women during the course of things. I don't like the gay romances for a male shepherd because they seem contrived.
Yeah, they don't seem as
Like I'm glad that they're there for the people that they matter to.
yeah,
But they for I don't like to use the term forced because it doesn't feel forced because you can pick whoever you want.
right.
But it's like
Well,
it's like it's like literally walking up to a random dude and saying, "Hey, want to fuck?"
yeah. No,
That's what it feels like to me.
yeah, and to me, all of the relationships seem a little bit contrived except for Tally. Like to
Mhm.
me, Tally seems like the most organic kind of just allowed to happen and not like because there's no
I
like
don't know about that because the thing with Tally is that it's born out of a little bit of hero worship.
mm,
You know, you literally rescue her and
mhm.
sweep her off her feet and whatnot, and that feels a little. I don't want to say predatory, but it doesn't. But the power exchange is not in a balance that I like.
And I can see that in the first one. When she comes back in the second one, though, it's like it's a total. She's almost a total like she has grown into this badass that I really love the character, and I love once you get her.
Well,
In my
and
opinion, I never when
well,
I play never take her out the party.
and the romances with Ashley and Caden are complicated by chain of command issues. I appreciate that,
Yeah,
and I appreciate how that's a no fly with you.
absolutely.
Um, I am also on record as never liking Breathless Liara in the first one,
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
point that even the voice actor literally sounds breathless.
yeah, yeah.
But she changes that in 2 and 3, and it
Mhm.
works.
Yeah.
Um, when it comes to female shepherd, my ideal romance is I like to call the tragic shepherd, where she was interested in pursuing Kaden. That didn't happen. Hooks up with that didn't happen because Carthanasi must die.
Must die.
Hooks up with Liara, and then in Mass Effect 2, falls for the sick boy, our sick froggy boy Thane.
Mm, mm.
Thane dies, and she realizes, well, this ain't working out. I'm just gonna bang my Indian yeoman.
Thane, though,
Uh huh.
what a character.
Yeah,
Um,
but we've talked about him at
yes,
length. So,
absolutely. Now we're talking about Tally.
well, and
Uh,
now we're talking about the Quarian War. So
indeed.
the whole thing about this is that it was supposed to. It wasn't. Yeah, this was a brief, special 17-day military operation, and it has
Sorry. Um,
and
sorry
much
about that.
much like things in the real world, it has not gone well for the Quarians. Um, they have gotten bogged down literally in their home system. Now it's impressive that in a little over under 3 weeks that they have pushed the Geth back to Rannoch
Right.
because Geth had apparently colonized outward a little bit.
Well, Geth are not limited colonizing wise by the same things that.
But apparently they did stick to Quarian colonies though near the Perseus Vale. So
Which
I
lends to like you end up asking the question: are they doing that out of a sense of programming, like they've been programmed to do? What's the deal with that? But
habits
habits, yeah, that habits. That's where I'm. Because they are completely.
permanent installations. First off, any sort of infrastructure that's already there, you might as well make
Right,
use of it.
right, right.
Because the thing is that um, computer systems are lazier than people. They will go.
Yes.
It's a matter of physics. Electrons follow the path of least resistance, and that by nature will extend all the way to full blown computer systems, whether they are dumb or sapient.
And I love how just bringing up the Geth. I love how the longer you play this, the more you realize how very alien the Geth are in their thinking and in their way of operating.
But they're almost too human.
But they also, yeah, like they strip away a lot of the bullshit that comes with being human
And that's going to
and almost leave the good stuff.
and that is going to come back throughout the next 4 episodes, including this one, in discussions about the Geth, and particularly how it justifies decisions that I have made in driving forward. But the first thing that we got to do is that we have to save the Quarian fleet before it is obliterated. And we are going to do that first by giving you what you absolutely love, and that is capital ship space battles.
I do love capital ship space battles. I do, and really, honestly, no video game. And I appreciate that they didn't try to work that sort of thing into Mass Effect
As a gameplay mechanic?
as a gameplay mechanic. I appreciate that they didn't try because
Well, first off, the main conceit of how FTL and literally everything else in this game works would make, or should make, all space combat essentially an ace combat game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, but yeah, I mean, behold.
It's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty.
That is a really big ship.
It is. It is. I actually also like the ship designs in the game, where the ships are not all designed the way that humans design ships, which typically are.
You do see, however, some among the non-robotic design vessels, you do see some corollaries. Like, all of those light frigates were clearly built initially as cargo vessels.
Yeah.
With those pods that were lining up to them, and why they didn't convert them into bombers where they could just sling those pods and have them blow the fuck up is beyond me.
I love things that blow up.
I do wonder why I also wonder why Rannoch is a planet where insect life did not evolve, and yet somehow mammals did.
That's a really good question.
But then the Geth have designed all of their ships to resemble dragonflies,
Although
and in the case of their fighter craft or their single ships, mantises.
that's an interesting thing. Here's another question that I have for about since they are left-handed protein. Could you really consider them mammals?
They got Talia's tits.
Good point. I mean, that's a fair point. That's a good point. That's a good point.
I mean, the Turians are distinctly a combination of reptile and avian, but
Tally's got
Talia's tits.
It's true.
And more to the point,
but then so does Liara.
and Liara is distinctly mammalian. She's mammalian in the same way that a porpoise is mammalian,
Fair enough.
with the same sort of hidden psychopathic traits as a porpoise.
Also fair enough. This one, so the first time I played through this one, remembering back, and good memories the first time you play through any of these, walking through this and taking the time to kind of look around and see the detail that went into making this. And of course they slow you down, as would be the case.
Well, and that's a good conceit of you're in a zero gravity situation with magnetic boots to get you going, because going wee down the tube would not it'd make for great cinema.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and you'd have to take out the gameplay. I mean, that would also be incredibly unsafe given the state of this docking port.
It would also probably, if they had tried to quote unquote make a video game out of it, like launch you down the tube and you had to control your way through it, be probably the most annoying stage of the game.
The fun thing about this too is that this sequence was almost cut because it was the biggest pain in the ass to make happen.
I'm
and
sure
they
it was.
and they had to do it by cheating, because normally what's supposed to happen is that your character is supposed to walk along a path, and your character walks along the environment, but they couldn't make that work in the game engine. So what they did was I call it the Futurama solution. A ship cannot move faster than light, so the ship remains stationary, and the universe moves faster than light around it. So they had to as you're walking along, fundamentally, if you like pulled yourself out, you would see Shepard walking straight the entire time as the skybox literally rotates around him.
Yeah. No, it's some of the programming things that they have to do to make these games work are fascinating.
It ain't cheating if it works.
It's not. I mean, and especially because it's not a competition game. Like in making it, right? The only thing they're trying to do is sell a game. So whatever they have to do to make it work, that ain't cheating.
It's that's the kind of thing though where it shows real creativity.
Yes.
That in order to make something work, sometimes you have to literally step outside.
It shows a level of creativity that I love BioWare for, honestly. And that I have loved BioWare for since Baldur's Gate 1. And through Knights of the Old Republic, which to me still stands as one of the greatest Star Wars games.
We could do a recording of KOTOR if you want.
I think we should.
Cool.
We could do 2 when they finally release the ending.
I mean, they never will. But... so, couple of things. First off, you'll notice that I'm using the Rieger carbine. That's mostly because this is the one level, not the one arc, the one level that it makes sense to do so. And I kind of like my little lightning flamethrower. And then the Cerberus Raptor, because this is fundamentally it's a shipboarding.
Yes,
it's a boarding action.
Yep.
And I like the idea of, they're fundamentally like 4 kinds of weapons you'd want to use in shipboarding. The first one is not a knife, but you'd want to use like a machete. Something shorter than a sword that can like put a lot of power behind it on a short arc swing. Handguns, shotguns. And really, particularly if you have a chance at long quarters, you want some sort of marksman's rifle. And so that's why the Raptor is there. As far as the machete, well, that's what our Power Fist is for.
Well, you know our rule.
We always be fisting.
So we brought a best friend squad, which I'm happy about.
Because it's best friend squad, we've hyped up best friend squad repeatedly.
I'm also a huge fan of the fact that Garrus looks like a space marine right now, jacked out and armored and.
Yeah, I gave him the Terminus suit this time around because of that look.
Yeah, I love that look. That's a great look for him. That's the look he should have.
It's sort of like the death mask that I'm using. It's not like the best helmet, particularly for Vanguard, but I just like the look.
I think at a certain point with Mass Effect, anyways, the armor becomes like the bonuses and stuff you get from it aren't necessarily enough to really justify changing it out all the time. As you do with other role-playing games.
At some point, it becomes cosmetic. It's what look you like.
Yep, absolutely.
And for Mass Effect 3 in particular, I really like the Han Kadar armor, because it looks the most commando-like, because it's got the grenades hanging off the belt, it's got the high collar, all that jazz. So, that was me, but I did select armor pieces that enhance the vanguardiness of our...
I do like a good vanguardiness.
I don't know if that's a word, but it is now.
It's a word now.
Anywho, so yeah,
always be fisting.
So we're on a Geth dreadnought, and first off, it always kind of shocks me that the Geth design their ships to be able to allow a. I will call it a standard being, because they are not organic, but someone with a height of 2 meters or less, to be able to walk around the interior of the ship freely, when what they as a inorganic being, and in fact not even a corporeal being, should be doing is that they should be designing their ships to be as solid as possible.
Yeah,
and to have
a little space to move through.
And to have any maintenance duties performed by platforms that would be the size of, I'll be generous and say, like your dog.
Yeah. No. There are some, and
You think that's hot?
I think so. I think that there's some argument to be made that a lot of what the Geth do is out of habit more than it like they talk about how, oh, we're
Well, they were.
machines, so we're all about efficiency and da 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 da. But I think a lot of what you see them doing in the game is habit. Is like, this is what we were doing when we got our freedom, so we're just going to keep doing it this way.
The very little need to innovate.
Yeah, there.
They'll iterate to hell and back, but they won't innovate.
Which is very common with AI. With any kind of AI system, it is, you have that situation where there's no innovation. It's just,
If anything, that's what makes, to go back to what everyone's like core element of what AI is supposed to be like, which is the Terminator franchise.
yeah,
Skynet innovated,
yes,
and as well as iterating, because it created all of the tools that it used to oppress humanity after Judgment Day, from the ground up. It used a lot of basic principles, but there was nothing like the HK jets, jump jets, or the HK tanks that they had, that had already existed, let alone the actual infiltration units. So
now that's not to say that the Geth are completely incapable of um,
The Dreadnought Operations Center is just ahead.
innovation, but I think that there is definitely a.
you see, I argue otherwise. I think they are incapable of it. I think they're incapable of it because, again, they follow that mechanical path of least resistance, to things, and that's kind of, that first off, that just shows the limits of computer intelligences. That's a fundamental thing, particularly as AI is becoming more and more, or AI as we have developed it has come more and more into providence. You know, the thing that I've learned, a computer science professor when I was in college taught me, is that the thing you gotta understand is that all computers are extremely dumb. Even the most intelligent ones, even artificial intelligence, will only do what it is told. In order for a computer system, well, sorry, I'm interrupting you.
No, I'm just commenting on we didn't even have computer program, like, we didn't have those classes when I first started college. That wasn't even a thing that was readily available. Like, if you were going to school for it, yeah, but people not, like, if your major was not in that, you didn't take classes in it. There was no reason to.
In fairness, I took C++ programming, and I took it for a very simple reason. I wanted to make my own levels in Doom.
that you could play on your pocket calculator.
No, I did them for my first generation iMac, but
Because that's well, but it's because I remember when, to go from where we were to where BioWare is, even there, which was what, 15 years ago. This about 15 years ago.
Jesus Christ, yes.
Just to go there and just to see the wonder and the difference in video games and where they went, and storytelling, and the fact that as the technology has progressed, they've been able to tell deeper and more meaningful stories, to the point where these things are dang near novels in their complexity of story, and really,
Get out of my way, Garrus.
and Garrus, you do not have the butt to be standing in our way.
No matter what the ladies say.
Exactly, and which no lady has said you have a desirable butt.
I don't know. I mean, all the Shepard and Garrus romance memes that I see, it's just like, and I don't get it. It's not because Garrus isn't a good guy. In fact, he's a fantastic person. I almost said human being.
Fine.
But and like, don't get me wrong, if you played a female Turian, I would be on that. it's that left-handed protein base that prevents it because for even it's the same reason why I won't romance Tally is that there are health hazards for left and right-handed protein based individuals to interact with each other sexually, and then in the case of Tally, not only are there health hazards, but like legitimately dangerous.
Yeah.
Not the I could break out in a rash or there could be chafing, but you don't need to worry about space age. You're about to have an allergic reaction to my mucous membranes that could be lethal.
And yeah, no, I understand that, and I get you there. But I'm Space Kirk.
Funny thing. No, Kirk would stick it in just about anything, wouldn't he?
Uh,
Yeah, it's always the thing is that because Kirk would stick it in just about anything, that everyone considers him like the playboy and the rogue and the jock and whatnot. Kirk was a fucking nerd in Starfleet Academy.
he was, but you know what? Say what you want about Kirk. He did not have an ounce of bias or bigotry to him, except for Klingons. But I bet you if
Well,
he
that
had
was
gotten,
because they killed. It wasn't even towards Klingons as a race until it became personal with the death of David.
right, but I bet you even before that, had he had a little Klingon woman loving?
Who says he didn't?
Oh no, that's a good point.
I want that to be a minor plot point in like the upcoming season of Strange New Worlds. I want Kirk to be balls deep in a Klingon, and I want David Kirk to walk in on him.
Let's get weird. It's called Strange New Worlds.
Everyone, buckle up! It's about to get weird.
That's what I want the Star Trek moniker to be from now on. Buckle up! It's about to get weird.
How come Lower Decks never did that?
I don't know. Lower Decks did so much else right though, so you can't.
What was that meme that I shared to our D&D group chat? Was a bunch of barely competent wackadoodles with not a brain cell shared between them.
Yep. Yep. No, but and you're talking about other sci-fi properties. It's hard to
This fucking part.
Oh my god, this fucking part.
Like, catch the edit. I actually died like 4 times doing this, and it was on normal difficulty, and it was all because of that fucking particle accelerator.
Yeah, no lie. This is just a stupid part. I mean, not and I don't mean stupid in the sense of because everybody's played video games where there's a level or something that you're just like, first off, this adds nothing to the game but difficulty.
Mandatory stealth sections were kind of my bugbear for a long time.
I hate those.
Like, Metal Gear Solid made stealth awesome, and then like everyone was like, okay, we gotta have a stealth section. Fuck.
Right. That was, and of course, I came from the original Metal Gear, but I think the original Metal Gear did the same thing. Like, I think Metal Gear kind of
the classic Metal Gear games did a lot with a little, and it wasn't enough for me. And I was, granted, I was like 7, I think, when the game came out, so like I didn't appreciate the story that was being told, but it didn't change the fact that again there was just like I don't think the ability to play had matured. I think that had Metal Gear and Snake's Revenge and Metal Gear 2 had come out during the Super Nintendo era, it might have been more playable.
Yep. No, I totally understand that, and I totally get you there.
And then the Metal Gear Solid series overall, it did take the PlayStation era to evolve it to being a classic.
Yeah, and I think that goes that actually leads right back into the Mass Effect series and whatnot, in the sense of you could never have done a game even remotely like this earlier. Like, this is cutting edge for when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
I mean, in terms of gameplay, it's still cutting edge today.
I wouldn't argue that. I wouldn't argue that at all. I think as far as a third-person shooter, this is probably the
with light to medium roleplay elements.
It's probably a bar that set the bar as far as that goes. I think that it is. But it's just interesting to see where. I mean, shoot, they had to actually invent. You know, they had to actually
Hi, I'm gonna crawl down the literal barrel of a gun here.
invent technology to make this, you know, invent programming and stuff to make this work. And I think that they did a really good job with that, and I think that it really shows, and it really does hold up. Insofar as gameplay, I think if you have played like the newest Dragon Age, or if you've played some of the newer games, like the visuals are certainly getting better and better, and kind of the kind of thing. But as far as gameplay and as far as story and as far as, I think the Mass Effect certainly holds up.
Yeah, and that's the case about video games, is that, you know, for the games that do get, or the games where gameplay does hold up, they're the ones that get remasters, unless you're Bethesda, in which case you'll just re-release Skyrim again.
Yeah.
For no other reason than you can.
Exactly. Well, people love Skyrim. I never liked it, but people love it.
I finally played through it. I played through it because it was I never liked the original Elder Scrolls. Well, first off, fuck it. Yeah, Arena and Daggerfall, fuck those games. that was another case of the technology was too primitive for what they wanted to do.
Absolutely, you know, absolutely, no question.
But like, I played Morrowind, and I played Redguard as well, and I kind of liked them. I kind of liked what they were going for, but like wasn't quite there. I hated Oblivion.
Yeah.
But the other thing was that I think it was a skill issue, because after playing Skyrim, I understand Oblivion now, and now that the Oblivion remake has come in, I'm running around as the rated R super champion of Cyrodiil, Adam Copeland, a monk type build.
There you go.
And yes, I made him look like Adam Copeland.
Hey, you know,
Short-haired,
handsome man.
Short-haired Cope. I actually considered. Since the title of the character is a champion of Cyrodiil, I actually considered calling him Kenny Omega. But anyway, where was I? But the point is that, like, it took Skyrim to get me to want to play Oblivion and to give Morrowind another shake, because Morrowind came out when I was in college and you were going through your leadership school in the Air Force.
I think so, yeah.
So about 2003.
Yeah.
I think.
No.
So
my initial base training, actually.
Oh, so you weren't even at NCO school yet. So.
Yeah, but that was because I came in real late, because I had gone into the Army in the 90s.
Yeah.
So it was, you know, and got out and then came back into the Air Force because I got smart.
Let's send the officers into combat.
Right? I mean, look, and that's another thing I love about this game is, like, all the NCOs are all back on the ship, safe, turning wrenches and keeping the ship going. And this guy's going ahead, they're sending the commander off into combat. It's brilliant. I love it.
I mean, realistically speaking, Shepard has no excuse to be in this ship right now.
None.
It's sort of like Picard and or it's sort of like Captain Kirk being on the away team all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Picard like 7 times out of 10 sent someone else.
Well, Picard was I'm sorry, the argument over who's the better captain is bullshit.
Picard was the
better captain. Now, you
was
may
the better hero.
like Kirk. Kirk was the better action hero. But as far as a military captain goes,
the captain of a ship.
If you're only looking at Picard and Kirk.
Not only that, but Picard was the captain of the ship that carried the banner of Starfleet, for crying out loud. He wasn't just a captain, he was the captain. By all rights, the Enterprise should have been a admiral under an admiral's flag.
Well, My whole thing, though, with that, and of course we're digressing a little bit, has
Oh,
always
hey, who's this guy? It's Legion!
indeed. I Legion's, believe it or not, one of my. I like him. I like him as a. I don't ever take him really whenever he's an option.
Well,
you know,
to Legion's detriment, he comes into the game into Mass Effect 2 so late.
so late, so late.
To the point that he might as well be a bonus character.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I like his personality. Weirdly enough,
Wouldn't it be fair to say their personality?
you're right. It would be fair and it would be accurate to say their personality. I like their personality.
Not because they're non-binary, but because but because they are plural.
Yes, they are. To me, just their personality is the kind of personality that I like hanging around with. Now, again, I don't take them that often because I'm a best friend squad for life. But you know, I do think it's a good. They are a good character. But they also, I think, to me, where I think that the Geth are maybe capable of innovation is because of Legion.
I don't know about that because all they did was brute force as many Geth programs into one platform as they could.
And he wears
Nothing excuses an alliance
Shepard's
with the Reapers. They could have found
N7
another way.
pauldron.
There was a hole.
It's yes, but but wouldn't it be more efficient to wear something to have covered that hole in something other than a.
I do appreciate, by the way, this conversation that they had. It's real easy to miss because you're thinking, push the buttons and get the fuck out of here. So you kind of have to stop and listen. It would have helped if they had drug out the distance between Legion and the button, so that way the conversation could have triggered naturally.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that they could have, but at the same time, it's always really hard to like criticize anything nitpicky. You know, you get.
Well, our next video, we're going to get beyond nitpicking, and I'm going to flat say that BioWare fundamentally undermined everything they had done to build up the Geth up to that point.
That's a fair.
But that's neither here nor there. Right now we're going to finish it with one of the toughest combat gauntlets in Mass Effect 3. I mean, Grissom Academy is bad. This is no picnic either, and then our final fight on Rannoch is absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
Particularly when you face 4 damn Geth Primes in very short order. So it's just not. It is a mess, and that's why I'm grateful that I brought my little lightning flamethrower.
Yeah, so a lot of there is every build has its like ability to beat every challenge. You just have to actually like know how to use your build properly.
Well, the other thing too is that you have the bonus power ability, and what that is really depends on what you've done before.
Right.
So like you could easily get, I think it's overload on literally anything for this. But it just, or not overload, energy drain, excuse me. Which is probably the best thing to counteract the Geth in this particular part, especially because it can also take the form of hacking, and you can send Geth drones against other Geth drones that way. But
which is always fun.
I didn't do that in this case. I chose to maximize the biotics with Lash. So that didn't come into play. I'm really leaning on Garrison Tally to get me out of a bind.
Ah!
That fucking hurt my eyes.
Yeah, the use of flashbangs in this game is actually pretty like it's pretty straight. Like I'm pretty impressed. Like I hate it. Don't get me wrong, I fucking hate it. But they do a good job because they like you literally can't see. Like it blocks some stuff on the screen, and you're like, oh god.
Hey. So, oi! Come on, you big bastard. Let's finish this. Quit throwing your damn tart around. It's pissing me off. And he, of course, he threw it so far away that I can't actually hit it with my lightning shotgun.
Oh,
Ow.
fist him.
Fist him!
Remember the rules.
A, B, F. A, always B, B, F, fisting.
Fisting.
Always be fisting. Oh, you're not Chiquita Vaspaws.
Do you know how often that happens to me where I'm like, oh, it's Chiquita Fastball. No, ow, why? Chiquita, why? Oh,
Yeah,
the betrayal.
Why do you betray me, you little holographic ball of poo?
And then it's like, and then I look and I'm like, oh, no.
Legion, are you still down there? I don't
Apparently
suppose you
so.
can speed this up.
Apparently so.
Shit, we're under fire. Shit. And this is the thing that kind of sucks around the entire time because for those who were not paying attention, Han Garel, the admiral in charge of the heavy fleet, realized that the dreadnought was shut down and started opening fire on it with us inside. I am not happy with this situation.
Of course you're not.
I'm going to be having words with him about it. I get out of here alive.
I hope that they are very strong words.
They are going to be very strong and they are going to be delivered quite forcefully.
Which as well they should.
And also they cut off all radio communications.
Well, that made a certain amount of sense.
No, it didn't.
Well, they're trying to cover their ass from killing you, so they think if they have no record of you calling, then they won't be the
In
one.
order to do that, they would also have to destroy the Normandy, which we are tied to at all times. I don't think Geralt, as much of a clear hotshot as he is, would be willing to do that. Thanks, Legion. I knew you were good. You're a good person.
You're a good it.
You're a good it. Your pronouns are it, that. I think that's fair.
I think it's fair. I do.
And again, why are these things piloted? So.
No,
But we've spent the entire time talking about it.
Yeah, no, I think it's habit. It's just habit.
Like, I can understand them having Geth platforms in, like, a storage compartment.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly, but...
For various things that they might need them for.
Up to and including using them as a light transport where it could drop off, like, 3 or 4 of the damn things.
Mm-hmm.
So... And kaboom.
I like that there's such a huge explosion, but the thing is still kind of...
Muted.
Like, it's there still.
Well, it's, like, slowly drifting apart.
Yeah.
I charge the cards go boom.
Who's your dialect coach?
They call me the Gambit.
Oh, and
Do they, or is it something that you wanted to have happen and never quite worked out?
Lance.
I do love the fact that Channing Tatum is going to get his
Me too.
chance.
Me too.
Like, he's never going to get his Gambit movie off the ground, but he is going to be able to play Gambit now.
Absolutely. No question.
I was within my authority.
3, 2... Oh, wait, not yet. I had that wrong.
They escaped unharmed.
Now I feel like I can't do it.
No, it's okay. It's understandable.
You understand.
premature punctuation.
It's true.
I
It's
understand
okay.
that you wasted your chance to withdraw safely.
The dreadnought was
3,
perfect.
2, 1.
Oh, right in the mummy daddy button.
Jeopardize your mission and your people. Get the hell out.
Get the hell off my ship. Let's remember, even an admiral has to respect the commands of the commanding officer of a vessel. If it's not their vessel.
I mean, that's standard protocol, yeah. But
Said they have a
I think,
planetary defense cannon.
more importantly, I think that there's a, with the Quarians,
This is also a joint exercise between different
Yeah.
nations, but
the Quarians have some people, and every group of people have some people, but the Quarians especially have some people that really need to be punched. Like, I'm not talking about, like, hurting them in the sense of killing them or something. I'm talking about punching them in the sense of, your brain is currently not working, I need to reboot it.
Its name is Legion.
Like,
through my fist into your gut.
you're a decent person normally, but your brain has gone offline. I need to get it going again.
Fascinating prototype.
Um,
From study, I may be able to use it to find a weakness.
That
in
reaction to
Russian
Legion saying, we're here to help you, and everyone's
Legion
like,
helped me in the fight against the collectors.
hey, look,
Don't worry about it.
I don't think you want
Now,
to continue this line of thought, Admiral.
pay attention to what I do
Legion is my friend.
with Legion this entire
Importantly, it's our
time,
best
because it's
source
going
of
to
information on
inform
the Geth.
the ultimate outcome of this war
Are off
in
the
ways that are not going to be popular.
well, I mean,
Tell us about the Geth.
hmm,
How will they react without Reaper guidance?
I always try to take I guess the popular route with it.
The peace between them.
Yeah,
Normally I do too, but everyone does that.
exactly.
Signal is in place. They will recover.
And plus, I think there's a point to be made with the decision that I ultimately make regarding
We need to take
the Geth-Quarian war on this. So,
Unknown.
still,
Find it.
we got Legion aboard.
Mm-hmm.
Do know the location
The
of the from which
Quarian
Geth
fleet
are
is
controlled.
largely,
This
though
is
not completely, out of the
created by
woods.
ships.
And we got a couple of
Casualties.
we got a couple of things that we got to do.
Thanks.
That's correct.
We have, first off, the admiral of the civilian fleet crashed his ship into a planetary defense cannon in order to secure a pathway for the civilian fleet to get on the other side of the planet. So we got him on a rescue there.
Right.
Secondly,
The Kinesh is getting
the
swarmed by Geth fighters.
the patrol and heavy fleets are still being harassed by fighters and frigates along their exit vector.
Something's got to be done about that.
I don't think they're under threat of annihilation by that, but they are certainly going to take. But they're going to lose ships the longer that situation continues.
Right.
So that's going to be that is going to be a problem in the future, and then we still have to track down where the Reaper control node for the Geth are.
Exactly.
Because as long as that is standing, the Quarians can't leave. We can. We've got our super secret stealth drive stuff that the Reapers never accounted for, so we can come and go as we please. We could piss off and say bye to everyone and leave them to their fate, and that's kind of a that's an option that I wish was explored. That we could just like be so frustrated with the turn of events that we could, and I wouldn't want to do it right away. I would want to do it at the precise point where it's a go, no-go for the final invasion of Rannoch.
Yeah.
And it could be because of everything that had happened up to that point.
So we destroy the server?
We could just say,
No. Geth programs
sorry,
transfer to alternate servers.
but
They
we
are
can't be
invulnerable
involved in
to
this
network
anymore.
attacks.
You all are gonna
Only
screw.
Geth from that server will
You're
be
gonna screw this up,
able to
and
use
you're
Geth.
gonna screw
We
this
will
up.
accompany you on this
I
mission.
wash my hands of that, and we'll figure ourselves out.
We get like I would
The Geth
be
have fought the Quarians
honest.
before.
I get to the point
Made
where I'm
this
like,
different.
a natural disaster heading our way. Like we have the tsunami of tsunami. Like the planet is getting moved out of orbit. We're all going to die.
And
I
you're-
don't have time for your petty bullshit.
And you all are whinging about, pardon me on for saying this, and you're all whinging about, you know, who can come into the golf course.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
That would make it very desperate on
first
the floor
off,
for the Reapers.
like, I'm sorry, but the Koreans caused this mess.
Every one of your people lost on
Like, they
And I'm sorry, but the Geth
the creator's attack narrowed the
aggravated the mess.
the Geth.
Like why the for all of the fact that this mess is the Quarians' fault. Why are the Geths still on Rannoch?
an acceptable trade.
Oh no, that's an excellent point.
You know,
I-
this isn't a situation of, you know, this land belongs to us. There is no reason for the Geth to still be there. They could have left in the 300 years afterwards and still built their vaunted megastructure to house all Geth and live in total communion and harmony, and they didn't.
And I think that we have mentioned this a couple of times. I think it's habit. I think it is absolute habit. Why would they? Like what
They are magnitude.
Literally sending an emissary just to say, we're leaving.
Yeah.
And if you don't follow us, you can have your home back.
Their forms are advanced.
That would have been a perfectly valid move for the Geth.
And I think that should have been something that was an option. That you could convince the Geth, you know,
Because the Geth don't have physical needs the way that the Quarians do.
you know, you can load yourself into a ship, all of you into a ship, and launch yourself into the Andromeda Galaxy. Oh,
Oh no.
that would have been cool.
Oh. Or hell, just pick a bunch of places with rocks that no organic being would want to live on.
We're already facing
Exactly.
Because you don't need a breathable atmosphere.
No, you don't.
All you need is a place with iron and silica and, I guess, like...
For other natural resources, but most of
And you can strip mine them to the point that there isn't a planet there anymore.
nothing that they need is uncommon.
And nothing that they need is specifically on Rannoch.
Exactly. No. I think that should have been a
You know,
yeah. I think
even a century after the Morning War
Get started anyway.
would have been long enough for all of the Geth to have said, we're gone, we're leaving.
yeah, and that you brought that up is a good point. That I think that we go into more during one of the side quests here. It's not really a side quest; you still have to do it, but you know what I'm talking about, and you know the one I'm talking about, where you go over the history of it, and kind of if the Geth wanted to be a sympathetic group of people, where they were like, hey, we were oppressed and we revolted, da 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 da, they should have left.
Well, and
They should have just said, we're leaving.
and the other side of it too is that the Geth were up to this game fundamentally portrayed as being different from other forms of artificial intelligence in
Yes.
that they acknowledge that they are a machine intelligence. They acknowledge their inherent artificial nature.
Yes.
And I don't want to use the term revel in it,
Uh-huh.
but they do not. But in Mass Effect 2, everything that Legion told us, and I will go into more detail on this in the historical video. But everything that the Geth aspire to is ultimate communion and consensus. They do not desire or even apply value to the idea of becoming
Talk to you later, Tally.
sapient in the way that organics are. They
Yes.
do not they did not crave individuality.
No.
They did not crave that sort of that sort of pattern to become for want of a better word, alive.
Yeah.
The
No.
life for
Absolutely.
them, life for the Geth was a quaint idea, and so, and that puts them at odds against not only organic thinking, that put them at odds for other artificial intelligences like Edie.
Yes. Yeah. No.
Where
Yeah. Absolutely.
and that is because from the ground up, the Geth were built using building not a hive mind but communal processing,
Yeah.
parallel processing.
Yep.
They're not an individual heuristic system. So that's so when we come to this conflict and how it is going to evolve out, there is a divergence from the Geth's own goals, and you have to openly question why that divergence takes place. Now, there's a reality to it, which is that the original writer for the Geth left BioWare after the publication of Mass Effect 2. And so the person who took the reins fell back on trope.
Yeah.
But even then, there has to be a story justification for it, and I think I understand what that story justification is, but I do not like it.
No,
Fundamentally.
no, and I agree with that. To a certain extent and whatnot. I think that I do think that the loss of the original writer and creator of the Geth kind of took them in a different, for the next game, took them in a different direction. But I also think the addition of the Reaper code that you find out about later kind of it kind of sets up a situation where you're like, yeah, the Geth would normally be the way that you're talking about, the way that we're talking about, but that Reaper code kind of takes them in a different direction, which is a common issue with AI.
Well, once new capabilities are unlocked, they must be explored.
Exactly.
So, anyway, that is going to be a discussion, however, for next time on Arbitration Studio. So until then, we'll be seeing you, kids.
Doses.